One more time. Vishal demai. What is demai? Demai is something that we don't know what it is. Why? Why do we have a suffix? We're not sure. Was Trumais and Meisers taken off? Why are we not sure? Because you bought it from an Amaretz. You bought it from a unlearned individual, and you just don't know. Does he follow Allah? Does he follow Allah? So if we look back in the Mishnah for a quick moment, the Mishnah taught us it's a machlokes Beishamai and Beis Hillel. What is the status of this esrog? Beishamai said it's puzzle. Beis Hillel said it is kosher. Now, with that background, let's look at the Gemara. Says the Gemara, did I skip? Yeah, I skipped. Vim natal kshira. Let's go up one more moment. I chatzi skipped. We sort of did this quickly. Let's just do it again. Vim natal kshira. Truma tahira. Truma tahira. We said he shouldn't take truma tahira. Yesterday we explained why. 2 reasons. If you remember, again, because you dipped esrog in the water, and now it becomes susceptible to become tamei, and we're afraid that throughout the course of Yantif it will become tamei. That's reason number 1. Very good. And reason number 2 is as you hold the esrog, all your fingerprints make it a little bit ruined it. Good.
The first is the only problem with these. If you hold that, it has to be for 7 days.
No. The first one is a problem that once it is susceptible to be makabel tamei, it becomes tamei. So says the Gemara. Excuse me, slicha. It could become tamei. It's a din derabanan. Chazal were nervous if you're using this esrog for 7 days. What might happen? Someone that's tamei might touch it. So it's concerned midrabanan to prevent it from becoming tamei.
Sounds like the number that holds that. So sukkah is called shiva.
Why? Because you're saying it's more time. I hear.
Because if it might become tamei, then
yeah. I hear. Interesting.
Nothing. Lulav has nothing to do with that.
Yeah, interesting thought. Vim natal kshira. And if you take it, we said it's kosher. Again, you shouldn't take this esrog of meiser of truma tahira. Thank you. But if you did, it's kosher. Says the Gemara, Laman damar levisha in baheter achila. We had 2 reasons why you potentially shouldn't take an item. One was because you can't eat it. Hariyish baheter achila truma tahira. You're allowed to eat. Laman damar levisha in badin mammon. Hariyish badin mammon. Truma tahira has a din mammon. So both reasons apply, and therefore, if you take it, it's kosher. You shouldn't take it. A concern midrabanan, a safeguard. Either why, because it might become tamei, or why, because it might become ruined. But if you did it, it is kosher. Now we continue with shel demai. Again, what is demai? We said this a moment ago. Demai is something that you purchase from an am haaretz, and you don't know. You get it from an am haaretz. You don't know whether truma or a meiser was taken off. Says the Gemara. So we had the Mishnah taught us a machlokes. Beishamai said it is pasul. Beis Hillel says it is kosher. Says the Gemara, my time to Beis Hillel. What is the reason of Beis Hillel? Meaning, you have an entity right now. That what is the status of this entity? We don't know if Truma Meiser taken off. So you allowed to eat it?
Aaron, go on the side of
what? Oh, you're saying maybe even worse. Oh.
We should be on the side of caution.
Oh, so it's good. Let's answer both. The reason is we assume Amaretz. Amaretz in Chazal's term is a fascinating thing. He's a from Yid. And we're not really worried. Like, why don't we be worried? Like you're saying, maybe it's a Zara, maybe it's a lemon. The answer is he's a from Yid. So he has a cheskas, he has a regular Yid status that we could believe it's kosher. This one thing he wasn't scrupulous about. He just didn't care about Trumas and Isis. It happens to be, your question's better than the answer because it's a funny thing. Usually we're shtickle black and white. Is he yeah or is he not? But this is a category in the world of Chazal called an Am Haaretz that they didn't do certain things. Okay. But now, so you let it eat it? The answer is of course not. So says the Gemara, my time to Beis Hillel. According to Beis Hillel, what's going on over here? Why you let it take this essay? You're not allowed to eat it? Answers the Gemara, fascinating detail as it comes to Dimai. Says the Gemara, Kivon since. Di'i ba'i if you wanted. Mafkir lehu, you can make ownerless linnechasei, all your possessions. If one were to make all his possessions ownerless, would he have any money? No, he just made them all ownerless. Vahave ani, and he would have the status of an ani. And there's a fascinating detail about demai. Demai is a suffix. So misafik, or Menachem, as you said, you got to be careful. You're not allowed to use it. But what if you're an ani? What if you can't afford anything else? Say chazal midrabanan, we're going to allow you to eat it. Aniyim, we give them a special dispensation. They can have things that are misafik. So since you could make yourself that ani, v'chazile, and then it will be fit to you. Hashtanami. Now also that you're not an ani. Now also that you did not make your items ownerless. Hashtanami lachem karinan bay. We can call it lachem. We can call it yours. So a fascinating, almost lumdish teretz, says the Gemara. Could you eat this item? No. So you can't eat this item, Rabbi. I shouldn't be allowed to take it as an esrog. Theoretically, you could eat it. How could I theoretically eat it? Well, just don't tell your wife about it, but you might just become ownerless of everything, have no money, and when you have no money, then you could eat this esrog. But Rabbi, I didn't do it. Oh, because you could do it.
You could also take up tumas.
Oh, but that requires, first of all, you're not allowed to do it on Yontif.
Okay.
Agav, you're not allowed to do it on Yontif. This you could. You can make everything ownerless on Yontif. And that requires a maisa. This doesn't require a maisa. It's a fascinating thing. With mere words, you can make yourself poor and make yourself able to do it. Ditinan, as we learned in a Mishnah, ma'achilim es aniyim demai. You're allowed to feed aniyim demai and ve'es achsanya demai. Now, what is achsanya? Achsanya, let's look at Rashi. Says Rashi, everyone look together at Rashi. Rashi's a few lines down. Chsanya, chayloisav shel melech, the chayalim, the troops of the king. Who feeds the troops? Says Rashi, umatil mizoynoiseyem. We place their food, says Rashi, al bnei Medina, on the people. And because the people have an obligation to feed the troops, say Chazal, you know you're allowed to feed them? You're allowed to feed them demai, even though you cannot eat it. But because it's almost like a public service, we give like a special, like, a freebie. So says the Gemara, quoting a Mishnah, Aniyim can eat a demai. So now what's the question? Now the tables have turned. So why does Beis Shammai say it's possible? 1 second. If this is an entity that theoretically everyone could eat, so now we understand why Beis Hillel says it's kosher. Why does Beis Shammai say it's possible?
They said for onion, every person.
Because you could theoretically make yourself an ani, that's enough to make you theoretically shaykh to it, and therefore that's the fascinating din. We're learning right now. Let's speak this out. Thank you. What does lechem mean? We would have thought lechem means it's mine. Lechem means I can get benefit. Lechem means I can eat it. The Gemara is broadening lechem. And then we're saying, you know what lechem means? A theoretical potential, 1 in a trillion, let's be honest. Who's making everything they own ownerless? Who's doing this? No one. But because in halachic terms, in lumdus we would call it, you could theoretically do it. That theory is enough to call it lachem. Is enough to say it's yours, an absolutely fascinating entity. But now the tables have turned. What about Beis Shammai? Why does Beis Shammai say that you can't? Says the Gemara, Beis Shammai, ani loy ochel demai. Beis Shammai argues b'yisoid. Says Beis Shammai, an ani is not allowed to eat demai. Ditanan, as we learned in the Mishnah, ein machilin asaniyim demai, v'sachsanya demai.
Literally the opposite.
Literally the opposite. Ve'omar Ravuna, Tana Beis Shammai oimrim ein machilin asaniyim v'sachsanya demai. Beis Hillel oimrim machilin asaniyim demai v'sachsanya demai. So the same.
Both bringing Mishnahs.
That is their own Mishnahs. Beis Shammai, Beis Hillel each have a Mishnah backing up their point, and based off of their preconceived notions, whether you could feed the demai, follow suit into our Mishnah, whether you could use it as an esrog. Absolutely beautiful. And we, sorry, is there leket? So leket pay and other matnas aniyim, we don't get to this Mishnah, but leket pay and other matnas aniyim go on not the item, go on the field. So when we're holding an esrog, you're asking, is there a potential that he didn't take off leket off the whole field? So the answer is there is that potential, and you're asking a question. The Gemara actually asks, why aren't we worried? Amar Atzim, don't do that. The Gemara is different to Rutzim. Maybe it's easier to do that and different things like that. But Truma and Meiser is the entity that creates the mind. Is leket is on anything that is picked. anything that is picked. You're saying, what about a esrogim which are from a tree? I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know. Shal Meiser Sheni b'Yushalayim. Let's continue. The Meiser Sheni b'Yushalayim. What did the Mishnah say? The Mishnah said, "L'chatchila, you should not take it." Says the Gemara. Laman da'amar mipneisha machshira. Why should you not take Meiser Sheni in Yerushalayim? According to the opinion that says, as we saw a few moments ago, you dunk your esrog into water and makes it susceptible to become tamei lefi mipneisha machshira harei machshira lemaisa. It's susceptible to mekabel tama. Laman da'amar mipneisha mafsida harei mafsida. Basically, take the aforementioned debate and insert it into here. But vim natal kshira. Why? Again, the exact same Gemara. Why, if you take it as a kosher? Everyone holds you're allowed to eat Meiser Sheni in Yerushalayim. Who's the Rabbanan? And not?
It belongs to you. And not
Good. And not Rameir. Very good. Ayin in the bottom of Amud Aleph, as we saw extensively how Rameir holds it belongs to Hashem. Rabbanan holds it belongs to you. So it's going to be in the Rabbanan. That finishes the middle section of the Mishnah, which were all the different issues in this esrog of the different things you should have done with it. But now the final section of the Mishnah, correct? That's why you're allowed to take it. Very good, exactly. Hamani Rabbanan, that's why it's kosher. Exactly, precisely. Well, Rameir holds it to Shem's, so you can't take it. The Rabbanan holds it to yours, so you could take it. The last part of the Mishnah dealt with all the different things that could happen to your esrog. The pitum falls off, it's missing a piece, it has boils on it, etc. Says the Gemara, also chazazis. So chazazis were boils, and the Mishnah said it depends if it's on the roiv, the majority, or on the minority. If it's on the majority, it's kosher. Wait, I'm going to go back 1 second. If it's on the majority, it's kosher. If it's on the minority, it's possible. Yes?
Shame, but the moment there's, we said in the Seder,
Yeah.
if you wouldn't have that, then it would be a.
Correct.
But here you don't have the moment because I don't know it's Rabbanan.
No, that's why. Again, we're talking about Meiser Sheni in Yerushalayim. If you take it, it's kosher. Why, if you take it, it's kosher? According to the opinion that it depends on if you're allowed to eat it, everyone holds you're allowed to eat it. Good. According to the opinion that it depends if it has a din mammon, who holds it as a din mammon? The Rabbanan. So the Mishnah is the sheet of the Rabbanan.
If we're gonna go, you're saying my shady can't do like we should not be.
Correct. No, let me speak out. I want to see what's bothering. I think this was bothering you. Everyone agrees you can eat Meiser Sheni Yerushalayim, but Rameir holds a fascinating entity. You're allowed to eat it, but it's not yours. It's Hashem's. So according to Rameir, you have this esrog, you're allowed to take a bite into it, but you can't use it as on Yontif. Why? Because it's not yours. But I'm allowed to eat it. Who cares? It's not a din mammon. So when the Mishnah says that you're allowed to take it, so according to the opinion, it's all dependent upon a din mammon. Who's that going to be like? It's going to be like the Rabbanan. So now we go into the boils. Chazazis. Amar Rav Chisda, Dover zed this din, this halacha. That what? If the boils are on the majority, puzzle. Minority, kosher. Dover zed Rabbeinu Agadol Amru. Rabbeinu Agadol, which is, I just thought it was Rebbe. Why is it saying it's Rav? Okay, let's not get caught up right now. Okay. Dover zed Rabbeinu Agadol Amru. Rabbeinu Agadol said it. Sorry. That's what I thought also. Apparently, there's a Rashi over here that says Rabbeinu Agadol was Rav. Okay, weiter. Dover zed Rabbeinu Agadol Amru Hamakoim Yabezrei. God should help him. Whoa, that's pretty extreme. Why? Lo Yishanu, and this should sound familiar. That phrase. Where do we have that phrase? Where do we have that phrase? Very good. By what? By what? By what? Makam echad, but not 2-3 places.
The beginning.
By a rubber or hadassim with berries. Very good. Hadassim with berries. We said lo yishanu mamish this line. This exact line. Dover zed Rabbeinu Gadol Amru b'makim be'ezrei. And he said the exact same thing by the hadassim with the berries. That lo yishanu ela b'makam echad. It's only if it's in one place. Aval b'shnayim u'shleishim mekayimais. This was by the berries, the same halacha. It's kosher. So too over here says the Gemara with regard to the boils. Rabbeinu Agadol says that what? It's only if it's in one place, but if it's in 2-3 places, it's going to be kosher. Amarle Rava. So Rava responds, Adarabba. No, the opposite. Bishnayim ushleisha mikaymais. Then this should sound familiar to you. Havale kiminumar. Then it's spotted. The exact same. Very good. Exact same shakavatari by Hadassim. That what? It's spotted, speckled, upasul. Why? Because it's not Hadar. So this is Esrog. Esrog means Hadar. So if it's in 2-3 places, ask the Gemara for sure it should be Basel. Eli Itmar, Sefer Itmar. Ah, that's what he meant. Al me'utoy, it's kosher. If you have these boils on the minority, it's kosher. Omer Rav Chisda, Davar Zeh Rabbeinu HaGadol, Omer V'Makom Be'ezroi, Lo Yishanu. When is the minority kosher? Elo b'makom echad. Aval, however, if it's on the minority, but Bishnayim Ushleisha Mekayimais, then Havalei Kimin Numar Upasol. This last line is going to be a game changer, and we'll end with this. Amar Rava, Val Chaytmai. What if the dots are on the Chaytem, which is the top portion of the Esrog? Afilu bimashu nami hustle. Now that line is what makes buying an Esrog so difficult. If you look at Rashi, the end of the narrow lines, what does Rashi say? But uve gavoya. Shem mushpa misham, when it slants, the yori litzad rosha, when it starts slanting in the top part of your esrog, on that part, even a kol shu. Now look at the next Rashi. Shenira shom leinayim yoser. Yes, before we said spotted is the whole esrog, but now we're saying if there's anything on the top, you see it more, and therefore it's more puzzle. Now, what is the geder? It's hard to know. The Gemara sounds like even one dot, afilu b'mashu, which that's why it gets so complicated. Pick up from here. Chevra over Shabbos, we have this Amud to do, right? Last week we did Amud Aleph. Yeah, we have this Amud to do. We have an Amud to do over Shabbos.
Why don't we say when you
Amud
hold
over
that,
Shabbos,
cover the bletton.